Hello, precious people. Happy Friday and welcome to episode 6 of Domain TV. So firstly, I hope that you are all really well. And it's been a very busy week here the last week or so. So much wonderful stuff happening, which we will share with you today. So what we're going to do today is share lots of new that we've got going on for your picking and choosing that you may want to dip in and out of and participate in or not. So we're going to share the possibilities that we're creating about that. Then we're going to be talking about an incredible experience that I had with Domain this week when working with it to help my spiritual companion Belle. And it's not just something that happened that's just in relation to spiritual companions. It's something that happened that was a first for me when working with Domain overall, just continuing to highlight and showcase the possibilities of what this wondrous, spectacular and amazing energy holding can do. And then we're also going to be having a go, if you'd like to join us, at Transversing Myriad, because Transversing Myriad is part and parcel of working with Domain, and where you can transverse it to is anywhere and everywhere, basically. Myriad runs everywhere, and so depending on what the truth is of your own energy and what you're wanting, you could be able to transverse it to any part of Earth or potentially beyond Earth, or even backwards in time. So that's an amazing thing to experience as well. And so what we'll be doing today, towards the end of today's episode, is helping you with that, whether you're watching this live or on replay. The energetics will work the same, just so you can experience that if you haven't already. And then we will also at the very end be telling you a little bit about what's coming on episode 7 of Domain TV next week, as we're starting to build more and more now the diversity of these Domain TV episodes, as Domain is continuing to roll out now more and more across our community and also more and more around the world. So it's very exciting. So thank you for being here, whether it's live or on replay. So a little summary, a little roundup of what we've had going on over the last week or so, just to bring you up to speed with all of this positive news that we're sharing, because there is so much positive. In fact, there's only positive when it comes to working with Domain and Domain Energetics. So these Domain TV episodes are like an injection of good and positivity and incredible hope and opportunity every single week. So the last week's been a beautiful week. Those that are participating in the Domain Immersion Live experience are all just doing stunningly. It's such a privilege to work with those of you that are there. But also, in addition to that, we have been creating lots of new different ways that you can yourself participate in the School of Domain Energetics, should you wish to, at any point now or in the future. So our School of Domain Energetics is there to really propel you if you're wanting to advance your energy rapidly when it comes to working with Domain Energetics. So as most of you now know, this book, Domain Energetics book, called Our World, What Comes Next, introduces Domain Energetics and starts to get them activated for you so you can start working with them. The school is then there as a secondary port of call if you're wanting to energize even faster and more rapidly, and really develop your prowess with it even more. So the school is an incredible energetic space that's always going to be here and available for you, and you can pick and choose anything that you may or may not want to participate in. It's all about choice. So there's no monthly membership fees, nothing like that. It's about, we'll just be offering things that we're collating that you guys are wanting, and then you can choose which ones you might want to dip in and out of. So there's always going to be lots of different things available. So see the School of Domain Energetics as like a domain feast of like possibility in terms of events, masterclasses, workshops, training and development coming together, discovery evenings, that kind of thing. There's always going to be lots of different things that you can pick and choose from. Not in an overwhelming way, but in a way where there's something kind of monthly that you might want to participate in, at least monthly. Okay, so what we've been developing over this last week In addition to running the Domain Immersion Live experience, what we've been creating this week is some opportunities where you might want to work with myself and Domain one-to-one. So there's two ways that you can now do this. We have our Domain Longevity private one-to-one offering, and that is where you can work with myself and Domain exclusively for 6 ongoing months to really develop any long-term visions and aspirations that you yourself might have when it comes to working with Domain, whether that's for yourself personally, for others, or indeed broader environmental and global causes. So they're going to be an incredible way where you get our bespoke energy and working with you in a really bespoke way for 6 months around whatever you're wanting to develop with that kind of long-term reach with Domain. So information is now available on my website, sarahmorganglobal.com. So you can go and have a look there. And if you go to that website, you'll see there's a section for the School of Domain Energetics, and you can go and have a look at that. And if you want to book a free exploration call with me at any point, you can do that at any point now through the website also. So that's the first one-to-one offering. And then the second thing that we're offering is one-to-one development days. Now, these are going to run from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. UK time. So you're going to have this 12-hour window. And if you choose to do one of these at any point, you will be the only person I'm working with on that day. So my energy will wholly be focused on you. And that would be a 12 hours of liaising backwards and forwards, me receiving exercises for you to do, depending on what you're wanting to do with Domain. So again, they're entirely bespoke and tailored around what you're wanting to do and achieve. And it will be a backwards and forwards 12-hour period of me receiving energetic exercises from Domain for you to do, and then feedback on, and then we'll guide you and develop you further. There'll be super high energy, totally fun, totally loving. There'll be periods likely as well where I'm being guided to say, right, you just take a break for half an hour. I'm now going to flow these energetics to you. So you will have rest periods as well. But they're going to be days that massively develop you in a way that you just wouldn't be able to get to on your own in that pace. So again, it's for those of you that want the pace and to build that maximum advantage energetically that's possible for you with Domain, if that's something that you're wanting, because some of you are wanting that. So they're going to be running every Tuesday, but only ever working with one person in that way on a Tuesday. So you can pick the Tuesday that best suits you when you book. And again, you can find more information on the website. So we've got those 2 one-to-one offerings. We've also got our Domain Discovery Evenings that we're going to be introducing starting on the 19th of December. They're ticketed online events, and they're going to just be full of wonder and magical twists and turns, an opportunity for you to just sit back, kick back, ask us anything you want to about Domain. You can post as many questions as you want to in the lead up to the Discovery Evenings. And then we will select them on the evening as guided by Domain and answer them for you. So we know, because we receive all day long, how it can be so lovely just to treat yourself sometimes and just be like, right, I'm going to sit back and let Sarah receive for me and the others that are in attendance. They're going to be, again, a really high energy 2-hour event in an evening in UK time, so 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. UK time. They're going to happen every other month. The first one starts in December, so the 19th of December. So we'll be talking more about that in the lead up anyway. But again, just a really lovely way just to join a really interactive, fun, kind of high energy, buzzy event where you can really experience something in a way that will only ever be unique and individual each time that we do it. And a way just to, you may be asking questions that I have no idea what the response will be until I'm actually receiving it on the actual evening. So they're going to be really, really wondrous and fun as well. And then in January, we will be introducing our first workshop or masterclass as well. But more to come about that a little bit later on in the next couple of weeks or so. But the other thing we did want to say is, if you don't know, we're going to be hosting an in-person event called the Domain event in August next year, Wednesday the 6th of August 2025 in Alfriston, where I live, the perfect setting in the middle of the South Downs, near the sea. just a stunning location to do it. We're going to be hosting that, and so much more to share about that as well. Tickets will be going on sale next week because we know some of you are keen, saying you're already wanting to come and book your tickets. So tickets will be going on sale next week. We've been busy planning what we're going to do, the wonderful catering that we're going to have. My favourite tea room here has said they're going to cater, and we're talking like cream teas, finger sandwiches, lovely like cold drinks. Like, it's going to be gorgeous. So more to come on that as well, but that will serve as a really wonderful way for those of you that are wanting to come face to face with myself, but of course everyone else that is there that's part of the Domain community as well. So what we want to do moving forwards is at least once a year have that opportunity where everybody can come together face to face, and over time they will be taking place in different locations, so not just the UK, overseas as well. So again, so much possibility, so many kind of visions that we have with what we're wanting to do with Domain as we continue to build it. And we are only about 6 weeks into the journey. So there's so much good to come still. So we just wanted to let you know that they are all of the things that we have got happening. And so we're here always to help you. And of course, in addition to the School of Domain Energetics, we have our weekly read-alongs of the Domain book, which we're really enjoying hosting as well. And we're just loving helping and working with you all and talking to you all and sharing with you all through every single thing that we're doing, whether it's lives like Domain TV, whether it's through our social media reels, through our Monday newsletters, you know, however it is, we're just loving this interaction and developing Domain on Earth, because that's basically what us incredible souls here are doing. So that is what is going on at the minute. So lots of new offerings that are now available, that are still to come also through our dynamic, buzzing and vibrant Domain School of Energetics. So lots and lots and lots of goodness. So just to bring you up to speed with that. So on to the next part of Domain, of today's episode of Domain TV, talking about this week's Domain development. So basically, I am just going to check, because I'm being shown the signal is a little bit slow, which I had earlier when I was working with some people. So I'm just going to check this is working, and then I'm going to keep going. Bear with me. There's obviously a bit of a slow Wi-Fi situation occurring today. So I'm just going to make sure you can hear me okay. Bear with me. I think you can, but just to be sure. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so because I myself am working with Domain in my own life pretty much every week now, there's always new that I'm uncovering as well. And it's the same with all that are working with Domain. So whether you're using it from what you've read in the book, whether, you know, Domain leaders are using it, that type of thing, so many of us are now using Domain as part of our at least weekly living experiences. And why not? Because it's here to become a go-to that we can use to bring new possibilities and solutions always. And so this week I was wanting to help my spiritual companion Belle, who was asleep on the chair next to me, with some physical ailments that she has going on, one in particular. So I connected to Domain, and in usual Domain style, I then transversed Myriad and was shown where sequencing was being taken from to help her. So there were 3 flows of sequencing that I received. One of the flows was this beautiful kind of golden quality air that felt really high up where birds nest, but not on Earth, so a different planet in a different universe. And I was taking the sequencing from that air and using it to help Belle. Then the next flow of sequencing was this lush, like luminous green grass that was on, and again, another planet in another universe, and was really being taken and shown the grass there. And then I was taking the sequencing, obviously with Domain's lead, and again sharing that with my spiritual companion. And then the third part of what I was being shown was really fascinating, because this has never happened to me before. I was being shown this kind of bright luminous pink, I want to say it was slimy, but it wasn't actually, it was more shiny creation. and I'm trying to think how best to describe it. A bit like Play-Doh, but really, really shiny and more firm would be the closest way I can describe it. And what I was being shown for the first time ever, that this has happened to myself, okay, is that my energy with Domain, rather than taking sequencing from somewhere that already existed, so a thing that already existed, my energy with Domain was almost pulling together different bits of sequencing from different things that existed to pull them all together to create this new kind of object. So this luminous pink, super shiny, kind of firmer version of Play-Doh. And that was able to be taken energetically to then be targeted to Belle, and as it was targeted, it kind of melted down into what she needed to help her with the physical ailment. And this for me was a massive step in terms of creation with Domain, because we know Domain's here to create new possibilities. If you think about everything I've just said, taking properties from beyond our planet in other universes, other planets and other universes, taking those properties of the things that are there and recreating them here on Earth to help her. But this was about actually taking bits from various different parts around our multiverses, bringing them all together to create something entirely new. I've never done this myself before as a physical human working with Domain. This was a massive moment for me because, again, it's showing what is possible moving forwards for us physical humans on Earth. Not only can we access sequencing from beyond our Earth and universe and draw that to recreate it here, we can now create totally new stuff within our multiverses. So if you think about what I created there, that had never before been kind of created as a concoction to bring together to create something brand new in our universes. That had never before been done by myself. And so because I can do it, you guys can do it too if you want to. So again, think about how Domain's only been being used proactively for about 1 year and 3 months now. We have the 12 months with the incredible Domain leaders. We've had 6 weeks of introducing Domain here now more widely to you precious, precious souls here. And already that incredible new has occurred. It just fills me and us with so much excitement, because if that's happening now, imagine what's happening in 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 years time. This is why we say Domain brings incredible new possibilities and solutions to Earth beyond what we can even imagine. And this is also why we say delight in Domain, because you never know what you're going to get. You never know, because it has sequencing and possibilities within it that are beyond what we can comprehend, because obviously we're used to working from what we can draw from Earth. So it was such an amazing, amazing moment. And you know, if you think many of us in non-physical, when we used to work with Domain, we'd be creating brand new all the time. It was like we loved Domain. What I've been shown from non-physical is like loads of us used to love coming together, working with Domain, almost like a non-physical version of Domain HQ. Like if you think about somewhere like NASA, but like non-physically for Domain, Nelson there is a key part of that as well. For those of you that don't know Nelson Mandela, key energy, part of the core 4 Domain non-physical guides. And we would just love creating. It was like this, almost like this massive research, creation place or laboratory, that's not even the right word, but non-physically. We loved it. And I've also been shown, and some of you are going to really resonate with this and feel the truth of it, I used to kind of energetically wake up non-physically and want to run to Domain HQ and work with it. It was literally everything that I loved. And so many of you are going to feel that as well, which is why so many of you feel the pull to Domain. Even if you haven't done anything proactively with it yet, you're feeling that curiosity and that excitement. And even if what we're saying feels big and a bit out there for you, you've got that intrigue by it. You're like, oh, this is something here, even if I'm not quite ready to do anything with it yet. And so what Domain and Nelson are showing me now, and God, and actually so many on the Domain non-physical team, is like what we had non-physically, we're kind of creating here now on Earth. So it's not like we have a physical HQ, but we have the online home of Domain Energetics, which is the Sarah Morgan Global website. We have the book. We have the School of Domain Energetics. We are going to be having annual in-person meetups. It's like we're creating so much excitement and energy around Domain physically to mirror what we had non-physically. And of course, it's going to take a bit of time because it's a brand new concept that we're introducing to the world. But we're building it more and more all of the time, and it's so exciting. So for those of you that are feeling the truth of Domain and you're feeling the excitement of it and you're believing right from the off, you're feeling the truth of it, it's so much because in non-physical, you were like me, we used to run to Domain HQ and just be like, right, what are we going to do today? What are we going to create? What are we going to develop? We flipping loved it. And that's what's going to start now rolling out physically on Earth. And it's so flipping exciting. So we just wanted to share that incredible development with you because like we say, we're still early doors with Domain on Earth, and that's already starting to happen. So incredible possibilities as always. So what else do we want to say? I am being guided to say, I wasn't going to say this today, but I am being guided to say it because some of you are wanting to hear it apparently. We are going to be really starting to, over the next few months, look at developing Domain more with a global and environmental perspective as well. So we know we have Thrive Projects Africa, which we're going to be starting to develop next year. We know there's a Thrive Projects Africa diploma for those of you that want to work really closely with myself, Domain, and Diana, Lady Diana actually as well, to develop Thrive Projects Africa. And that 2-year diploma will involve that really close work of all of us together to develop it, develop them, lay the foundations in Africa, etc, etc. But we are going to be looking at different ways also to work with Domain more from an environmental and global perspective, because what's happening now that the school's open, there are people coming through its doors that want to help use Domain in a more planetary and environmental way. And of course, because what we're noticing is people that are working with Domain, they're loving it for themselves, but quite naturally there's this second arm of Domain for them where they do want to have an environmental and global focus as well. So there are things coming for that. I don't know what they are yet, I haven't received them, but there is an energy building where we are going to have a real key area of the School of Domain Energetics specifically around global and environmental things. I will let you know when I know more, but it is coming. I just don't know what it is yet. So I just wanted to share that because some of you are wanting that as well. And even if it's starting to use Domain for the environment around you, rather than going global straight away, that will be the kind of thing that we'll be doing and practicing. And I'm really flipping excited about that. And I'm being connected back to Domain HQ again. So it could be that we do something in the school where it's like practice using Domain for the landscape around you, and getting really good at using Domain and Myriad for that in preparation for going more wide, if that's what you're wanting as well. So that's really exciting as well. So you can just see everything we're doing is just popping with ideas and possibilities and new. And this is what we always wanted and envisioned, a really buzzing, beautiful community of souls through what we're doing on social media, through those that are reading the book, through those that are coming through the doors of the School of Domain Energetics. It's like really buzzy if you think about what it would have felt like in non-physical with the HQ there. This is what is starting to emanate here on Earth, and we flipping love you all for it. So thank you for being here. So now, as we promised on today's episode of Domain TV, we want to help you if you would like to explore this with us and you haven't done it before, or even if you have but you want to do it live with us, to transverse Myriad. Because transversing Myriad is part of the thrill and joy of working with Domain. So you could just go to Domain and get sequencing to create new on Earth, but part of the thrill of it is transversing Myriad, so you're being shown where that sequencing is coming from and you almost feel like you are there. And it's so flipping magical because it's Myriad that kind of gives you the access all areas multiversally and shows you wherever that sequencing is coming from. So you get that real kind of high from it. You're like, whoa, I've just seen this that I didn't even know existed. And I've seen it through Myriad. Other humans don't even know about it yet, but I've seen it and I'm now drawing sequencing from it. This is like the delight that can come with Domain and Myriad. So when you're transversing Myriad, you're energetically going to places and being shown places that you didn't even know existed. And it's totally safe. You obviously physically stay here. It will only happen if your energy is wanting it. So you're not just going to be kind of having a cup of tea one day and then suddenly dart off somewhere if that's not what your energy is wanting. It's so loving. And she's wanting to be known as her, so Myriad as a her, and we introduced her this way to those on the Domain Immersion Live experience. It's the first time I had received that she wanted to be known as a she. And so she's this beautiful energy that you can transverse. And we want to help you have a go with that today, if that feels good to you. And often when people are tuning to Myriad and practicing transversing her, they may have experiences where they go backwards in time or to a different part of the earth, or they might be lying in bed and suddenly feel like they're also partly somewhere else. And it's so beautiful and magical. And it's just part of like enacting our non-physical sides and energetic sides, being able to have these incredible experiences. So let's have a little go. And you know, you can always, if you don't want to do this now, this video will always be here on replay at Sarah Morgan Global under the Domain TV section, so you can always come back and watch this if you feel like you'd rather read about Myriad here first, or listen to some previous episodes of Domain TV where we've spoken about Myriad. If you'd rather do that first, you can always come back and do this. But for those of you that are ready, we can have a go at transversing Myriad now. So all you need to do is, should you wish to participate in this with us now, is if you want to, you can close your eyes or you can have them open. It's entirely up to you. I like to have mine closed because it just helps me focus. Make sure you're feeling really settled and balanced. If you're feeling a bit stressed or a bit erratic or a bit like even too hyper, do this when you're feeling really settled and peaceful. And then you can start to feel her energy around you. Now, knowing that Myriad goes everywhere, nothing would be without Myriad. Myriad is like the distribution system of creation. So right down from macro to like the smallest thing you can imagine on Earth, out to macro across all of our multiverses, she goes everywhere. But all you need to do is just feel her energy around you. But she is what connects everything. So even you to the piece of technology that you're watching this live on, and then through to me, like it's that kind of connection. Myriad is like this incredible web. She's beautiful. So just feel her energy around you. And then when you're ready, you can allow yourself to transverse her, and she will choose the location that you go to based on what you're wanting. So it's always in relation to what you're wanting, so it won't be anywhere you don't want to go. But when you're ready, you'll sort of feel yourself go there. So I'm going to go quiet for a little bit, because some people this happens really quickly. Others it just takes a little while just to get your energy in the right place, just to go there. So I'm going to go quiet so that I can focus on where she wants to take me as well. And some of you might get a sense you're moving as she's taking you to that place. It's definitely what's happening for me now. So I'm being taken to the Niagara Falls. And I can almost hear it in my mind's eyes. Like I'm standing underneath them and behind them. So there's a part you can stand behind them where there's space, but obviously physical humans don't do that. They go on tour boats and that type of thing. So I'm being shown an aspect of it that obviously wouldn't be accessible normally. This is what Myriad does, gives you access to all areas. And I'm feeling the velocity and the energy of the Niagara Falls. And I'm feeling Martha's energy as a part of that. For those of you that have been watching previous episodes or have read the book, we know that Martha is the collective consciousness energy of our oceans. And so I'm feeling Martha's energy present as I'm standing behind and under the Niagara Falls. And I'm being shown, this is amazing, how the Niagara Falls, let me just see, there's something around Myriad Hotspot. Really interesting. I'm being shown how the Niagara Falls were a Myriad hotspot. I've never received this before. So again, always new to receive. And then that kind of Myriad hotspot energy kind of ceased. But how we can now reactivate it as a Myriad hotspot. Now, Myriad hotspots are amazing points on our Earth, and those working with domain are becoming Myriad hotspots in their physical human form as well. Myriad hotspots are really powerful for creation. So creation of new. Myriad works with magic as well. So we've already been shown as an example how the Ugandan rainforests are a Myriad hotspot, and how in those rainforests we can stop malaria, basically change mosquito larvae at a certain point so that it stops taking on malaria. When it's sort of taking blood from a source where there's malaria, it kind of dispels it basically right then and there to stop it passing on. And Myriad works with magic in that way. So there's something around Niagara Falls, used to be a Myriad hotspot, then kind of stopped, and now can be re-energized as so by those that are wanting to do so. So I'm not going to re-energize it as a Myriad hotspot now, but that is possible, is what I'm being shown. So you may find when you're transversing Myriad, you go somewhere, it literally can feel very, very vivid. So when I've gone back to Egypt or to rainforest, it's like felt very like palpable, like I'm literally there. And you could literally go anywhere. And just enjoy the experience when you're there. I'm now being shown Niagara Falls historically, and the wildlife and the birds that were there. If you think before it was really built up, and I literally can hear them in my mind's ear, and the colour of those birds really vibrant. This is like going back to original creation pretty much, is what I'm being shown. And the colourfulness, it was very, very, very vibrant. Really interesting. So just stay with Myriad as you're transversing her. Still very aware you're physical here and your feet are on the physical ground, but you're transversing her. And just see what else you experience. And this is why we have a chapter in the book called Unearthing Earth's Secrets, because it's through Myriad that we are unearthing Earth's secrets. Seeing things, being shown things that humans haven't seen or been shown before. It is literally accessible areas, whether it's earth focused or beyond. So just stay with this a bit longer, if that feels good to you. Of course, if you want to stop, you can. Always choice. But I'm being guided, some of you will want to stay with this a bit longer. And don't push it. If you feel like you've got everything you need to get in this moment, or you're wanting to get, then just stop. I can feel I've got everything I need to. Actually, me trying to get more is slightly pushing the energy now, so I'm going to stop. But some of you want to go a little bit longer, so we're just going to give you a few more minutes to do so. And then whenever you're ready, if your eyes are closed, you can open them. If you want to keep going, you can just pause this if you're watching the replay. But we'd love to know what you experienced. Share it below. And it is as easy as that. I have to say, it is as easy as that. I think sometimes with transversing Myriad, it maybe sounds a bit more complicated than it is, but trust anything you just experienced, because we were holding the energy and vibration to support you there. And so this wasn't transversing Myriad to get sequencing from domain. This was just transversing Myriad just to experience her. And you might find as you go about your day, other things might happen. So I've had people, when they're tuning to Myriad at bedtime, hearing the sounds of a cafe, like they're literally there, even though they're in their bedroom, in a really beautiful way, not in a way that wasn't wanted, but like, wow, what is this? And as I've shared before, I've once, when I was tuning to Myriad, was watching a video on, I think it was Facebook, and I literally felt like I was there. It was like, whoa, I'm there, energetically. So you can have some other experiences that occur now you're starting to open your energy up with Myriad. And it's really beautiful. Just think of Myriad as the airwaves of domain and creation and distribution, full of magic. you can transverse her anywhere that you want to go, as long as it's in accordance with your truth. She's never going to like whip you off and take you somewhere, A, if you don't want to, or B, that you don't want to go to. She's really loving. So you can start a little bit like surfing a wave. It might take a little bit of practice, or you might want to get a little bit braver before going on to bigger waves. She'll just go at the pace that's right for you. But if you think waves run across the whole ocean, Myriad runs across everywhere as well. So you can literally transverse her, or as you might surf a wave, but transverse her anywhere that you want to go. So really beautiful just to experience that. And for some of you, that will be the first time. Some of you may be watching this years down the line and be doing this, in which case do still comment. We'd love to hear. And some of you may be really well versed in transversing Myriad, but just doing this with us and taking the time to enjoy it, you may have had an amazing experience, unlike any other that you've had with Myriad in the past as well. So what a privilege, what a special thing to be able to transverse Myriad. You know, so many people aren't even yet consciously aware of her and that she's there and that we can do this. But obviously you, precious, precious people watching this, are. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing, unearthing Earth's secrets. So we hope you enjoyed that. We'd love to know how you got on. And then just to kind of bring this episode to its completion today, next week we'll be live again at the same time for episode 7. We will be sharing lots more that's going on with Domain with you, what's going on in the Domain community, that type of thing, developments. They are the kind of running content each week of each episode adapts depending on what we're receiving that you're wanting to hear about, always receiving what you're wanting to hear about. So actually it's much less about what we want to tell you. Although, of course, we love to talk about Domain, we would talk about it all day long. It's much more, every week, what we're collating is what your energy is wanting. Even if it's not at a conscious level, your energy is asking for it. So what we're going to start doing next week, as we've mentioned before, but next week is the week it's going to start, is we're going to have our first guest. So we're going to have the gorgeous Louise Green. She is one of our precious Domain leaders. If you want to find out more about them, there's a whole page dedicated to these precious souls on the Sarah Morgan Global website. But Louise Green is going to be our first Domain leader that's coming on as a guest. And we're going to be chatting about how she uses Domain, why she loves Domain. Every Domain leader has their own area of specialty with Domain because it's so diverse. This is why it's designed for lots of people to work with it. And for Louise, her area of specialty is the nature connector. And she does wonderful things. So she does weekly walks in nature where she's leveraging Domain energetics there for those that are attending her walks with her. She runs wonderful, amazing online workshops where she's leveraging Domain as well. She's looking at doing retreats in the future as well. She's someone or one of the Domain leaders that loves enzymes as well. And so it was actually Louise that I first experienced seeing what Myriad could do around mosquito larvae with by using the Myriad hotspot energy in the Ugandan rainforest. So that was a big moment for both of us. We were both like, what? And then beyond that, we had further sessions around that kind of work with some of the other Domain leaders as well. But so she's a beautiful soul. You're going to love her. It'll be lovely. She's hoping to come live just after doing one of her walks next Friday. So it may well be that when she comes on and we're on together, she's out in nature in the very special place where she does her nature walks every Friday. And in beautiful synchronicity, because we all know that everything always happens by perfect design, this place that she does her walks is the Selsdon Nature Reserve. And I grew up as a child in Selsdon. So when we realised that, we were like, oh my gosh, I don't live there now, but that's where I spent a lot of my childhood. So I've actually attended one of her walks and the energy is off the charts. It's stunning. So we'll be speaking to her next week. And then we've got another Domain leader coming on a few weeks later. And over time, as more and more Domain leaders are wanting to, they'll be coming on, and potentially others beyond that who have been working with Domain through the School of Domain Energetics and are part of this wonderful Domain community. Some of you who are reading the book and going on to use Domain, you may well want to come on and chat at some point as well, because this is all about community and togetherness. We're wanting to introduce everybody to each other more and more, to start to really feel the other wonderful humans that are part of this ever-growing domain community. So lots of opportunity in the future for anyone that wants to really to come on and chat with us and share what you're doing with domain, basically. So we're really looking forward to introducing Louise to you next week. So we will be here, same time, same place, 10 a.m. UK time, to share our next episode of Domain TV for you. And about halfway through is when Louise will be hopping on next week, and you'll get to meet her as well. But in the meantime, we just want to wish you all the most wonderful week ahead. Enjoy, delight in domain, keep using it. Let us know how you got on with Transversing Myriad if you've tried that with us today, and just keep having a ball. Domain is here to delight in. We're here to help you all of the way. So any questions, let us know. If there's anything that we can help with, let us know. And can't wait to see you all again next week. Have a really, 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 really wonderful few days, and we'll see you again next Friday. Mwah. So much love to every single one of you. See you next week.